Do you expect any negotiating to happen with the U.S. and China moving forward on these tariffs, or is it going to be a continuation of this tit for tat?
I think it's great that China reached out to the newly confirmed USTR ambassador, Jameson Greer. That's certainly a sign of some goodwill, but no, I don't expect much negotiation. I expect that China, Canada, and Mexico will begin to firm up their retaliatory lists, despite the fact that, keep in mind, in the executive order, there is an escalation clause that President Trump inserted such that in the event that Canada and Mexico in particular were to retaliate, these numbers will not stay at 25%, and we will have an all-out trade war. And the retaliatory lists are not limited with respect to tariffs. Both Canada and Mexico are getting highly creative and threatening to take this in a very un-Canadian, un-Mexican way going forward. They are potentially going to invoke non-tariff barriers and do it in a very dramatic fashion. So look for this to escalate if, in fact, we see the tariffs go into play on Tuesday, which I expect we will.
And moving forward here, Mark, what investors really want to know is whether the brunt of the impact of these tariffs could potentially be softened by those upcoming potential tax cuts. What do you think of that, in your view, the kind of teeter-tatter between those two catalysts for the market?
It's really an unbelievable question if you think about it. The idea being that somehow he can compensate for the economic damage that he knows he's causing. So it would be great if President Trump were inspired to be a real pro-growth president and give us both no tariffs and tax cuts. The idea that these tariff salvos are going to generate enough income to replace or substantially reduce income taxes is bizarre, and certainly the math doesn't bear that out. But no, I don't expect that we are going to see some compensatory mechanism fully relieve us. And keep in mind, the damage has been done. The damage of these tariffs has already been done. They've seeded tremendous uncertainty. They've created a sense that the United States is no longer a trusted trade partner. And if I'm the UK Prime Minister flying back home, my first thought is it even worth the candle? What is a US trade deal if the obligations can so readily be thrown out the window? So the damage has been done. Investors have two fears. One is the number that the tariff comes in at, and the other is the uncertainty. The uncertainty is now going to be with us for a very long time.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for joining us this Friday morning. Really appreciate you breaking that down for us.
Thanks for having me.